did Roland Martin Unfiltered. Was doing a lot of work before that. Then had to get ready for this show, and it's it's so much. It's coronavirus is spreading. More people are being infected, and then there's fear about, okay, what do we do about Thanksgiving? What do we do about the holidays? Should we get together, etc.? So, it's crazy right about now. All right. Calling numbers 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. We're going to deal with the history of Friday the 13th. And why do people fear that? Why do people fear that? Before we jump into that topic, let's go to the phone lines quickly. Let's go to Karen, line 1. Karen, welcome to the African History Network show. Thanks for calling. Tell us where you're calling from.
Hello, calling from Detroit.
From Detroit. Okay, go ahead. You're on the air. You have a question or comment?
Okay. Yeah, a couple things. Number one, as far as the whole Trump thing and what he's doing and acting like he doesn't know he lost, I'm just kind of amazed that a lot of my the media people and these news guys, it's just all a play, because he has 72 million people that are not watching him on TV every time, but he still has that many supporters. So it's really like the Jim Jones thing. He's talking to them. He's not talking to people like us that understand what's going on, because they keep saying he might run in 2024. And I'm just lost on why people not really seeing that. Like, they're like, why does he act like he lost? And he knows he lost. He's a masterful manipulator. That's what he's mastered. It's unfortunate that it's twisted and he used it for bad instead of actually using it for good. And I just want
it's a couple things. It's a couple things.
He's frustrated about it.
Well, it's a couple things. Yeah. One, he had largely been in denial early in the week. He had largely been in denial, and people around him are trying to. People around him trying to console him, but filing these frivolous lawsuits to appease him. The other thing is that Trump is trying to raise money. So they've been sending out these emails and saying they're trying to raise money to pay for the recounts and pay for the legal fees and things like this. So Trump is trying to raise money also. Mm-hmm. He said he's going to run in 2024. Right. I really don't think he's going to run I think he's going to have so much legal problems when he leaves office. I don't think he's going to run in 2024.
He's going to be in jail.
Possibly, but right. he even if he's not in jail, he may plead and possibly get a felony. We have charges of campaign finance law violation in the payoff to Stormy Daniels. That's a campaign finance law violation, which is a felony. So he is right. going to have a whole host of problems after this. Go ahead quickly with your next comment, and then I got to move on to this next topic.
I agree with you, but next comment would be, you just said about the holidays. I know we're spoiled to doing certain things, but this strain of COVID that's going through, I mean, we lost a friend Wednesday, we lost one yesterday, and a friend of mine, her son got it today. He's 22. Mm-hmm. We gotta cut it out, because what we're doing, or not here, because we're really on lockdown in a good way. I don't look at being in my house as a lockdown. But it's not about these gatherings. You can get over it. I get the family thing. Some people just get together because they're doing the turkey and dressing. Okay. But what's more important here? To possibly be here for the next holiday or to gather. And this stuff, I mean, it's really, really horrible this time. Mm-hmm. And, I have friends. I don't even preach to them anymore, because I see some people just can't be by themselves. They got to socialize, even if it's risking their health. Problem is they're risking everybody else, because this virus won't go away. So hopefully people are hearing me and just, I know everybody can't stay home. First responders, I'm not talking about them. But people with a little common sense, it's not about going to these clubs. I got 50 and 60-year-old friends that are still going to clubs, DJing, they having gatherings.
That's a death trap.
Stupid.
Yeah, don't do that. All right, sister. Yep. Okay. All right, Karen, I appreciate it. And I know how it is.
Thank you.
A close friend of mine has coronavirus also. So, we have to be very careful. All right. So when we look at Friday the 13th, I'm going to turn the screen share on also. Also, you can, on 9:10 AM Superstation WFDF on Facebook, they're broadcasting this show. We're broadcasting on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and on my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. I'm going to turn the screen share on so you can see this. This is part of a presentation that I've done in the past dealing with the history of Friday the 13th. And I also deal with, this ties into some of the history of the Moors also, the Moors in Europe. Let's see, where the heck, okay, here we go, application. This is what I want. All right, so let's look at some of this history here. And let's see here, just a second, wrong one. Let's turn this on. So, a lot of people fear Friday the 13th and don't know why. And then you have people who fear the number 13. Okay. So, because, it used to be years ago, may not apply so much now, but it used to be years ago that in a lot of multi-story buildings, there was no 13th floor. It'll go 12, 14, right? So when we look at some of the origins of the fear of Friday the 13th, you have Christian origins of the fear of Friday the 13th. And then you have other origins that deal with folklore and then tie into the Knights Templar. So when we look at the Christian origins of the fear of Friday the 13th, the fear of Friday the 13th comes from two separate fears. One, the fear of the number 13, the fear of the number 13, and two, the fear of Fridays. Okay. Both fears have deep roots in Western culture, most notably in Christian mythology. All right. Now, I should probably say this from the beginning. Anytime I do a presentation, I know I may say some things that are outside the circumference of your own awareness. Just because you never heard this before, disagree with it, or don't like it, does not mean it's not true. It just means it's something outside of the circumference of your own awareness, and you have to do more research to understand what it is that I'm talking about. Okay. So both fears have deep roots in Western culture, most notably in Christian theology. All right. Now, the Christian fear of the number 13, when we look at that, where does that come from? So the number 13 is significant to Christians because of the Last Supper. There were 12 people, Jesus or Yeshua, because the letter J was not created till 1630 AD, as we talked about before. The letter J is derived from the letter I. So there were 12 people, Jesus or Yeshua, and the 12 apostles for 13. Judas, the apostle who betrayed Jesus, was the 13th member of the party to arrive. And if you're watching on the screen share, or you see this famous painting done by Leonardo da Vinci, it's of the Last Supper painting. It's around 1495 AD. Okay. Now, so Jesus was crucified. Also part of this fear, you have the Last Supper, 13 at the Last Supper. But Jesus was crucified on Friday in the biblical story. This is known as Good Friday. Some Christian theologians believe that Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge on Friday. And I mean, I'm not going to get deep into it, but when you actually read that story, and if you read Christianity Before Christ by Dr. John G. Jackson, okay, and he talks about the Genesis story, and when you understand African cosmology, you acquire knowledge to elevate your conscious level, okay, and to come into the full understanding of the power of the creatress force that's inside of you. Okay, not to get like too deep into this, but when you study the Genesis story, they were told not to eat of the tree of knowledge because they would become likened unto a god. Not to eat of the tree of knowledge because they would become likened unto a god. So what tree do you want them to eat from if you don't eat from the tree of knowledge? Okay. So some Christian theologians believe that Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge on a Friday. Also, the great flood involving Noah's Ark allegedly began on Friday as well. Okay. So we see this, the Christian influence, we see the number 13, and we see the fear of Friday also. That's one influence. Then we see sailors were particularly wary of Fridays and oftentimes refused to ship out on Fridays. Many Christians would not begin any new projects or trips on a Friday, fearing they would be doomed from the start. Now, when we look at Christian fear of Fridays and women, Christian fear of Fridays and women, some historians suggest that the Christian fear of Fridays is linked to the early Catholic Church's overall suppression of quote unquote pagan religions and women. So we talked about when we dealt with, what was that? Halloween. We dealt with All Hallows Eve and All Saints Day, but we talked about the term pagan and how pagan, it comes from the Latin word paganus. Pagan in its original understanding, original form, does not mean something that's heathenish or something that is negative. It basically referred to, it could refer to a rural district. It can refer to basically something that is indigenous to a people. It can refer to people who what today we would call people who are country or in the country. So something indigenous to a group of people, especially like a rural district. Okay. So because of European history, white supremacy, probably also European anthropology, archaeology, the term pagan has taken on a negative connotation, but it's not negative in its essence. If you go to the dictionary, look up the word pagan, and then look at the etymology, the word history, the word origin, the etymology of pagan, it wasn't necessarily something negative in its essence. Okay. So in the Roman calendar, Friday was devoted to the goddess or female deity from Roman mythology, Venus. She is the goddess of love, beauty, sex, fertility, prosperity, victory, and desire. Venus in Latin means love or sexual desire. You can check out, here's one of the online etymological dictionaries I use, etymonline.com, etymonline, etymonline.com. Okay. And check out the entry for Venus as well. All right. And we've got Nini. We've got Renee. Renee's already ahead. She said 1307 AD. Okay. So Renee is already on it. So what is pagan? Okay. And we'll look quickly here at the definition. Pagan is a word that is misused to speak negatively about a group of people. If we look at American Heritage Dictionary, which is Merriam-Webster online as well, pagan basically refers to an adherent of a polytheistic religion in antiquity, especially when viewed in contrast to an adherent of a monotheistic religion. Okay. And then you look at the word origin of pagan. It takes you back to Latin. It takes you back to late Latin, paganus. But in Latin, it can mean a country dweller, civilian, and it comes from the word pagus, 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 which can refer to country or rural district. Okay, so in its essence, is not something negative, but it's been used. It has a negative connotation to it, especially the way it's been used, maybe, past 50, 100 years, something like that. Okay, let's continue here. So Christian fear Fridays and women. So when Norsemen or Nordic men, okay, adapted the Roman calendar, they named the day after Frigg or Freya, or you also see referred to as Freya. Okay, so Frigg, 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 or Freya, Freya. Okay, she was the wife of Odin. Okay, Odin. When we talk about the mythology of the Vikings or the Nordic, the Norse or the Nordic people, and Odin being the father of Thor, the god of thunder. Okay, so we see Thor in Marvel Comics, but Thor comes from this Nordic mythology as well. And then also, it's from research and talking to different historians, Thor was influenced by the Orisha Shango, who was the Orisha of thunder as well in the Yoruba spiritual system of Ifa, which is practiced by the Yoruba in Nigeria. And it's spread because of the transatlantic slave trade. Ifa and variations of Ifa we see spread into the Caribbean. We see it spread into Brazil, and it came here as well to the U.S. also. Okay, but Frigg or Freya, okay, was also the Norse goddess of love, sex, fertility, and marriage, and she was the wife of Odin. Now, originally, Odin was the name Woden, 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 okay, originally. And when you look at the origins of the days of the week, this ties into this mythology. Okay, Wednesday was originally called Woden's Day. Friday was Freya's Day, okay, referring to Freya or Frigg, the wife of Odin. Thursday was Thor's Day, okay. And then Monday was, if I remember correctly, Monday tied into the moon. Sunday, of course, the sun. But when you look at if you research the origins of the days of the week and where those words come from, they tie into this Nordic or Scandinavian mythology. Now, very quickly here to not get too deep into this, but I think I already did get deep into it. You can look up more information on Odin at Encyclopedia Britannica online, Britannica.com online, or go to Merriam-Webster online or any online dictionary, ODIN. Look up Odin and they'll have some information on it, on him there. Okay. Let's see here. Let's continue. Okay, so Christian fear of Fridays and women. Now, Frigg, Frigg, or Freya, 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 she was known to other Germanic peoples as Frigg, depending upon which European language you're looking at. Okay, you'll see a variation in the name, but Frigg, Frigg, was known to other Germanic peoples as Freya, Freia, Freya, and her name lives on in the word Friday, 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 or Freya's Day. It was known as Freya's Day, okay, in reference to the wife of Odin. And there's a painting from 1905 of Odin and Frigg looking down from their window in the heavens. It's a painting done by Emil, E-M-I-L, Doppler, Doepler, Emil Doppler. You can search for that. You can search for Emil Doppler, Odin, and Frigg, and you can check out that painting. Okay. This all ties into this mythology, but this mythology ties into the names of the days of the week that we use today. It ties into the fear of Friday the 13th that some people suffer from. And then the fear of the number 13 is called Triskaidekaphobia. Triskaidekaphobia, TRI, which is the fear or the unfounded fear of the number 13. Okay, let's continue here. Yeah, Norse mythology, Renee said on Facebook. So both goddesses, Venus and Frigg or Freya, were strong female figures and posed a threat to male-dominated Christianity. Both goddesses or female deities, Venus and Frigg or Freya, were strong female figures and posed a threat to male-dominated Christianity. The theory is that the Christian church, in retaliation, vilified the day named after them. Okay. So you have incorporated into this mythology in the Christian church, and it's different cultures that you see that go into the history of Friday the 13th. Now, the vilification of Frigg could have also played a part in the fear of the number 13. It was said that Frigg would often join a coven of witches, a coven, C-O-V-E-N, of witches. There would normally be 12 witches, and Frigg would make number 13. Now, a similar Christian legend states that 13 is an unholy number because it signifies the gathering of 12 witches and the devil. Now, when we talked about Benjamin Banneker earlier in the week, and I talked about the book Egypt on the Potomac by Tony Browder, and the book's right here, Egypt on the Potomac by Tony Browder. Let's pull this back up, blow it up. And we talked about Benjamin Banneker, and one of the things that Egypt on the Potomac deals with is how the layout of Washington, D.C. is a copy of ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. All right. And we know that Benjamin Banneker did the design the layout of Washington, D.C. He did the surveying. One of the things Browder talks about in this book is also the number 13. And the number 13 is a number of transformation and resurrection. Transformation and resurrection. So, but that's coming from ancient African culture and coming from ancient Kemet, the Nile Valley region of Africa, coming from that knowledge. Okay. So some people feared the number 13, but in general, we didn't. Okay, so just not to get too deep into this, but I'll leave it right there. Okay, so a similar Christian legend states that 13 is an unholy number because it signifies the gathering of 12 witches and the devil. All right. Okay, now what is a coven? Coven of witches. A coven just means a group of witches. All right. We look at Merriam-Webster, a collection of individuals with similar interests or activities. Another definition is an assembly or band of usually 13 witches. That's a coven. Now, the number 13 also has been considered pagan because there are 13 months in the pagan lunar calendar. The lunar moon, lunar in reference to moon, calendar also corresponds to the human female menstrual cycle, which is basically 28 days, and connecting the number 13 to femininity, connecting the number 13 to femininity. Now, in numerology, 13 is the number of change, transformation, and resurrection. And then that ties all into the mythology of Asar, Set, and Heru, who the Greeks called Osiris, Isis, and Horus. And to make a long story short, Heru's body being cut up by his brother Set into 13 pieces and scattered around the Nile River and, around ancient Kemet, and Set collecting the body and putting the body back together and resurrecting the body in the one piece that was not found was the phallus, which the Tekken that we talked about earlier in the week, the Tekken, or what the Greeks called an obelisk, is a symbol of resurrection, and this in reference to Asar. But the Washington Monument is a Tekken, okay? And, that plays a part in Freemasonry, in a lot of the 50 of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, George Washington and others. 50 of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence were Freemasons, and 13 of the 39 signers of the U.S. Constitution were Freemasons as well. So you're going to see this influence coming from Freemasonry, and they're in Freemasonry, they're dealing with the watered down teachings coming out of the Nile Valley region of Africa, specifically ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. So if you read Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization by Tony Browder, he gets deeper into that. Okay, for the purpose of radio, I don't want to get too deep into this, but you can read Egypt on the Potomac by Tony Browder, and also Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization, also by Tony Browder. So when we deal with lunar, as I said, that's in reference to moon. When we look at the word moonstruck, okay? Moonstruck, one of the meanings is romantically affected by or as if by the moon. Romantically affected by or as if by the moon. Because there was a belief hundreds of years ago that the way people acted was influenced by the phases of the moon. So like if people act crazy at night, not just in Detroit, but it could be any city, people will say, oh, there must be a full moon out tonight. That's in reference to this. So when we look at the word lunatic, okay, lunatic, the definition, affected with lunacy, okay, and this ties into the root word is luna, which means moon. So affected with lunacy means that the way you act is impacted by the moon. So if you look up these words in a dictionary, lunatic, moonstruck, lunar, they all reference the moon, and then this ties into the phases of the moon and understanding how this deals with astronomy. That's what this is. Okay, I ain't trying to get too deep into this, but all this ties into Friday the 13th. Okay, I'm just skimming the surface with this, just to give you to help you gain a better understanding of possibly maybe something that's outside of the circumference of your own awareness. All right. Now, if this is, okay, I think this is from Merriam-Webster. When we look at the origin of the word lunatic, right? It takes you through the various languages, but it takes you to Latin, luna, L-U-N-A, and it says from the belief that lunacy or insaneness fluctuated with the phases of the moon. All this is right. If you go to the dictionary, all this is right there. You have to look at the word origins, because the dictionary is like a good history book. It helps you better understand the language, but it ties into history as well. First known use 14th century AD. Okay, lunatic, from the belief that lunacy fluctuated with the phases of the moon. So you watch the movies, The Howling, you watch all the old movies we used to watch around Halloween, right? The Howling, and you see the werewolves howling at the moon and things like this. And there's a full moon out, people acting crazy. This ties all into those old, what they may call old wives' tales, things like that, right? How much time we have left in the show, Mike? Let me know. All right, let's continue.
We got about 3 minutes.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, other reasons Friday the 13th is feared is the Christian perspective on Friday and the number 13 are the most relevant today, but it only represents part of a fear of Friday the 13th, or what's known as Friggatriskadekaiphobia. Friggatriskadekaiphobia is the fear of the number 13. Frigga, Frigga. Okay. If you just in TRISK, you just type that in, it's going to come up with Friggatriskadekaiphobia. All right. And that ties in Frigga, Freya was the wife of Odin. Okay. In the Scandinavian mythology, and Odin, the father of Thor, and all this stuff comes together. All this is connected. Okay. Some people trace the fear of the number 13 to ancient Norse or Nordic mythology, referring to Scandinavian, where the beloved hero Balder, Balder, was killed at a banquet by the mischievous god Loki, who's a half brother to Thor. Okay, at least in the comic books, in the mythology, a half brother to Thor, Loki, Loki, who crashed the party of 12, making Loki number 13. All right. So when you go and you study the origins of Easter, you look at the origins of Christmas, or, well, maybe I shouldn't say that on it. Okay. Because I had to explain all that stuff. But anyway, let me put it like this. It's much deeper than you thought it was. Okay. A lot of times is more to it than maybe what they just told you in Sunday school, something like that. Let me put it like that. Okay. All right. We're going to continue this discussion on our social media platforms. The African History Network on Facebook, The African History Network on Facebook, and my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. And we'll be back Sunday night, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the African History Network show. If you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $, the AHN show through Cash App, $, the AHN show through Cash App, then through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. PayPal.me/the AHN show. This helps us to keep broadcasting 6 days a week, finance the show, keep doing the research, because we're here 6 days a week now instead of 1 day a week, Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight as of October 12th. All right. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you Sunday night. All right. Peace. Okay. All right, let's continue here. Okay. How's everybody doing? Let's continue. How's everybody? Okay, we got Jessica, Jason, just a few of the people watching, Renee, Christy. Okay, just a few of the people watching. And I don't want to get too deep into this, because we have people listening on the radio who can't see what I'm showing. And then, on 9, if it was just me just doing a Facebook live broadcast, it's cool. But on the radio, they have like Christian programming on the radio station. I'm on 910 AM Superstation, WFDF in Detroit. And we have people who have different levels of understanding. So I don't want to get too deep right now. All right, so let's continue here. How's everybody doing? Also, you can visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, All of my DVD lectures are there, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We're shipping out orders this week. This really helps us. This really helps support the African History Network, helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, also purchasing the DVDs and digital downloads. Okay. So appreciate that, and shipped out some orders today. We have more going out this week. We'll post a link here. And my bundle, we have the bundle pack of the Africans who were here before Columbus, the Africans who were here before Columbus. We have Black Migration 1619 to 2019. All that at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. That's a 6 DVD bundle pack. The Black Migration 1619 to 2019. That ties into our show from what night I came. All my days running together. I don't remember what day. What the hell were we talking about? World War I veterans, African American World War I veterans. We talked about that on Veterans Day. We talked about the Red Summer 1919 and things like that. So I have a 6 DVD bundle pack that gets into all that information. All right. It's been busy. It's been a long week. The Knights Templar. And you all can check out some of this information at howstuffworks.com. Howstuffworks.com. They have an article, How Friday the 13th Works. How Friday the 13th Works at howstuffworks.com. Then also history.com, the official website of the History Channel, has an article, Friday the 13th, History of a Phobia. Friday the 13th, History of a Phobia. Okay. And African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Okay. We have some new ads going up this week that I'm working on. I'll be recording commercials for businesses. So you can advertise on our weekly show, on our daily show, Monday through Friday. Our Sunday night show is sold out. But African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast, and we'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network also. All right. So let's continue here. Let's look at the Knights Templar, tie right into the history of the Moors in Europe, and they tie into ancient Kemet and Freemasonry as well. Okay. So all this history is connected. All this history is connected, and you have to understand a chronology of history. So I've gone and studied all the European holidays that we are taught to celebrate in this country. And a lot of them tie into mythology and, things like this. But you have to have an understanding of the chronology of history. So the Knights Templar tie into this legend, tie into this fear, the number 13. Another piece of the legend behind Friday the 13th being unlucky deals with the military order called the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar. Now, on Friday the 13th of October 1307 AD, Friday the 13th of October 1307 AD, scores of the French Knights Templar, along with the order's Grand Master Jacques de Molay, were arrested under the orders of King Philip of France. They were tortured, and this was said to be the day that the knowledge stopped and was associated with evil. So the Knights Templar were taught by the Moors, basically. They gained this knowledge that the Moors are taking in from Europe. Taking in from Africa, the Nile Valley region of Africa. They're taking this this knowledge of science and mathematics and history, astronomy, all this. They're taking this into Europe and they're teaching Europeans, right? The Knights Templar were founded around 1118 AD during the Second Crusade. And the Crusades are these fights between, these wars between the Christians and the Muslims. Okay, a lot of this has to do with over control of Jerusalem. First Crusade is right around 1095, 1096 AD. This gets into a lot of European history that I ain't gonna get into right now. But just understand, all this history collides. The Crusades, the Knights Templar, the Africans known as the Moors, Nile Valley region of Africa, Freemasonry, Scandinavian mythology, the days of the week, all this stuff ties together. Okay. So the Knights Templar were founded around 1118 AD during the Second Crusade by Hughes de Payens, Payens, not exactly sure how to pronounce that, along with 8 relatives and acquaintances. It was a military order originally called the Poor Knights of the Temple of King Solomon, the Poor Knights of the Temple of King Solomon, later known as the Knights Templar. All right. And this is all from a presentation that I've done dealing with the history of Friday the 13th. And I tie Friday the 13th into the history of the Moors because it all ties together. And I'm trying to think, did I ever do this? I can't, I'm trying to remember. I think I did this presentation live in front of an audience, but I can't remember if I recorded it. I have like over 40 lectures on DVD. I can't remember with this one if I ever did this in front of an audience. I don't remember. Okay, so ultimately, the plethora of folklore surrounding Friday the 13th don't have a lot to do with people's fears today. The fear has much more to do with people's personal experiences. Many people learn at an early age that this day is unlucky, and then they will look for negative things that happen to reinforce this theory. Okay, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. They don't realize that bad things can happen any day of the year, which is true. Bad things can happen any day of the year. Okay. All right. So, now how deep we can move? Okay. So this ties into the Africans known as the Moors. And, we've talked about the Moors before. Very briefly, because we could be here for the next 2 hours and that ain't happening tonight. The Moors' ancestors were known as the Garamantes. Garamantes, for those who are listening on the audio podcast of our shows. These were a Black African people living throughout North Africa, the Garamantes. Hannibal Barca in Carthage. And we talk about the Battle of Cannae, 216 BC, and the Punic Wars. Hannibal Barca was Garamante as well as St. Augustine. Now, the Moors, according to George G.M. James in his book Stolen Legacy, were the custodians of the ancient Egyptian mystery system or ancient Kemetic mystery system. These teachings will bring Europe out of the Dark Ages, okay? Coming out of the Dark Ages, late 1400s, early 1500s. And let me see very briefly here, and I'm trying to see how far I want to go with this. Okay, I ain't gonna go too much further. Because this gets into like a whole nother presentation. We'll be here for the next 2 hours. When we look at the origins of the word Moor, M-O-O-R, the word Moor is derived from the Greek word moros, M-A-U-R-O-S, which literally means black or a very dark color. The Romans adopt this word and call them Mari, M-A-U-R-I, Mari, okay? The Mari were a Northwest African people who were very dark-skinned, very, very dark-skinned. The Romans will refer to the region of Northwest Africa as Mauritania, Mari, M-A-U-R-I, Mari. Mauritania is Latin and means the land of the black-skinned people. You'll also hear the word Marish, M-A-U-R-I-S-H. When you have the shoes Mari Gators, M-A-U-R-I, Mari Gators, that's in reference to the Moors. If you read Golden Age of the Moor, edited by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, this book here behind me, one of the best books dealing with the history of the Moors, Golden Age of the Moor, edited by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. Okay. It has essays from Dr. Jose Pimenta Bay and Runoko Rashidi, Dr. John G. Jackson, Dr. Wayne Chandler, who I've interviewed a couple of times, Dr. Wayne Chandler, Romans later adopt the word as a reference for the black-skinned inhabitants they encountered in Africa. If you read pages 527 and 187 of Golden Age of the Moor, edited by Dr. Ivy Van Sertima, those are the sources for the information on this slide here that I put together. Okay. And okay. So that gives you some background information on the origins of this fear of Friday the 13th, where this comes from. Gives you some homework to do. Check out the article from history.com. Oh, there's another one also. Who were the Knights Templar? There's one article from history.com. That was one of the sources for that presentation that I did. And then the other one from history.com, official website of the History Channel, Friday the 13th, History of a Phobia. Friday the 13th, History of a Phobia. And we also see from howstuffworks.com, Friday the 13th, how Friday the 13th works, from howstuffworks.com. Okay. But there's no need to fear the number 13 or Friday the 13th. Okay. And a lot of this ties into what may be called superstition. But we see that when the Knights Templar rounded up in France, October 13th, 1307, this was said to be the day the knowledge stopped, because the Knights Templar were some of the most educated people in Europe. You're talking about at a time when the Moors go in 8th century AD, 711 AD. The about 90%, some sources may say 95% of Europeans are illiterate. The priests, the monks, were the most literate people in Europe. You had kings and queens who were illiterate, couldn't read or write. And the Moors are teaching Europeans how to read and write. They're introducing the periodic tables. They're introducing something that they call alchemy. Alchemy. Al. It was just an Arabic prefix, which means of the. Alchemy, alcohol, algebra, all that is Arabic. And they're educating Europeans, because from the perspective of these Africans, you're here on earth to learn. So they taught anybody freely. Back to kick us in the behind. Everything they taught Europeans came back to kick us in the behind. The Moors are going to introduce sugar and cotton into Europe. According to Dr. Jose Pimenta Bay, it was like 9th, 10th century AD. Dr. Jose Pimenta Bay has a lecture, The History of the Moors in Spain. And then he also has another one, The Decline of Moorish Power in Spain. And it's on YouTube as well. He's brilliant. I interviewed him. He's one of my first interviews back in 2010. And then these lectures he's doing. So he used to teach classes on the history of the Moors at Temple University in Philadelphia, where my friend Dr. Malefikete Asante is. Dr. Asante is the chair of the Afro-American Studies Department, African-American Studies Department at Temple University. But Dr. Jose Pimenta Bay, in his lectures, he's showing you paintings and like slides of paintings and things like this, documenting this African presence of the Moors in Europe. And when I was talking to him, he said that he got those paintings from Harvard University's archives. Harvard University's archives. So when you go study this history, you have Europeans who know this history because they have the evidence. You have Europeans who know this history and know the greatness of Africans and know how Africans used to also ruled in Europe. to various extents that ruled in Europe as well. The word Maurice, Maurice, the word Maurice is in reference to a Moorish boy, Marie. Okay. So what's going to happen is we see the history of the Moors throughout European history. We see it in European architecture, in European art. We see it in their languages. We see variations of the word more, things like this in European languages: Greek, Latin, Italian, French, Spanish. Okay. But it's also in the European bloodline as well, because these Africans, Moors, are going to intermix with the European population, have sex with Europeans, and produce offspring. This is how you get Queen Charlotte Sophia that we talked about earlier in the week, who is the wife of King George III. King George III was the king that the 13 colonies are revolting against during the American Revolutionary War, 1775 to 1783, where King George III's wife, Queen Charlotte Sophia, was of African descent, at least on her mother's side, African Moorish descent, at least on her mother's side. So this is a deep history, and it's all connected. This is why you have to understand a chronology of history. All right. Well, look, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, and also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. You want to donate 10, 15, 25, 50, 100, whatever it is. And then through PayPal, if you want to set up for a recurring monthly donation, you can do that also through PayPal. African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. Email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Okay. We can get you up and running this weekend. And one of our advertisers is theprofitroom.com, theprofitroom.com. So a lot of people want to learn about the stock market, learn about investing, learn about wealth creation, things like this. So the Profit Room is a stock market trading and education company that has mentorship programs that are designed for beginners. They teach individuals how to create generational wealth through trading and investing in the financial markets. Okay, how to create generational wealth through trading and investing in the financial markets. Their specialty is day trading and providing one-on-one mentorship. They have classes that start up periodically also, but they also teach about stocks, options, futures, and the foreign exchange markets. So visit their website, theprofitroom.com, PROFIT, theprofitroom.com, and then also visit their website. And then there was an article that blacknews.com had about the Profit Room also. Very interesting article. Check that out as well at blacknews.com. All right, I want to let me see. So I'm gonna see if I can pull this up here. So when you advertise with this, I put together a video commercial for you. Okay, you send us a script or bullet points, put together a video commercial for you, and when we re-air these shows on our social media platforms, your commercial will air during the show. Okay, and I want to show you one of the ones I've done. All these basically most, unless you send me your own commercial, I did it. I'm the one that did the commercial. Okay. Let me see here. Let me pull up. Okay. I'm going to show you a couple of commercials that I did. This is for the Black History Mobile One-on-One Museum. Black History Mobile One-on-One Museum. When I do it, there was a problem with the editing. The tag AfricanHistoryNetwork.com is not going to show up at the bottom, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, but I want to show you this. This is on our YouTube channel. This was a let's see if we can turn on the screen share so you can see. That'd be helpful. Here we go. let's minimize this and turn on the screen share. All right. Okay, how you doing, Renee? And let's see here. One mobile museum has carried on the rich legacy of the Black Museum movement in America by showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience at colleges, universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, making it the most traversed Black history mobile exhibit in American history. Dr. Khalid El-Hakim is the founder of the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, and he is a highly sought-after public speaker on topics of Black history, social studies, education, museum studies, hip-hop, and race relations. Dr. Khalid was named among the change makers for NBC Universal's Erase the Hate campaign and listed as one of the 100 men of distinction for Black enterprise. He recently founded the Michigan Hip Hop Archive on the campus of Western Michigan University. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum is currently scheduling in-person and virtual exhibits nationwide. For more information, please contact Dr. Khalid El-Hakim directly at 313-645-4197, 313-645-4197, or visit their website at blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. That's blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. You can also help at b101@yahoo.com, bhistory101@yahoo.com. Are you ready for a new Black economy? Well, Hapi, The Role of Economics in the Development of Civilization, is a brand new documentary that will set you on a new path of knowledge and enlightenment. The Hapi film gives viewers a snapshot of our economic history from the dawn of civilization right up until today. The underlying theme of the film is the interrelationship between the three essential components of economics, politics, and culture. Hapi brings together the brightest and most prolific minds in the fields of psychology, history, business, and politics, such as Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Professor James Small, Dr. Julian Malveaux, Dr. Zahi Hawass, and Jabari Osazi, and more. Together, they deliver a message of cooperative economics, financial independence, and a pride that we can all be inspired by. The film is on sale now. It's streaming on all digital formats. Or for DVD, please visit Hapi, H-A-P-I, hapifilm.com. Use offer code Hapi, AHN, for a 10% discount. Have you tasted the world famous No Frowny Brownie yet from the Pink Bakery? All right. If so not, what are you waiting for? They are vegan, gluten-free, and free of the big 8 allergens. While eating their No Frowny Brownies, the fabulous Miss Tabitha Brown said, "They were very good. Very good." And you know, if she says that, they are. The Pink Bakery is the first Black-owned, big 8 allergen-free baking mix company. Go to thepinkbakery.com. That's thepinkbakery.com to order their No Frowny Brownie mix today. All right. So that's an example of the type of commercial. Now, they won't have AfricanHistoryNetwork.com down at the bottom. That was, I left the tag in there when I was editing that show that these commercials are running in. But those are all commercials that I designed and did the voiceover. I guess the voice sounds familiar. Okay, so African American business owners, email us at customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, so we'll be back Sunday night. Let me see. Let me look at some of your comments here. And it's been a long week. Let's see here. We got Erica. And who else we have? Okay, Renee. All these shows are on audio podcast platform. I'll be uploading some more of the shows to our audio podcast platform this weekend. We are on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Castbox, Stitcher, FM Player, etc. We're on 9 different podcast platforms. And your commercials will run during those podcasts also. And you can listen to 910 AM the Superstation also through the iHeartRadio app. Download the iHeartRadio app. You can listen to my show live and other shows on 910 AM through the iHeartRadio app. But then I also have a separate page on iHeartRadio. Search for the African History Network show. And my shows are podcasted there as well. All right. Look, we're going to get out of here. Remember the African History Network. At the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. Everybody have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you all Sunday night. Okay, we'll be back Sunday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. All right, peace.
Melanized Media is an independently Black-owned and operated film company. We specialize in producing culturally enriching Black films and videos at melanizedmedia.com. Join us every Sunday for Melanized Nights, where we screen a socially conscious documentary film or Black historic presentation. That's every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Visit melanizedmedia.com to learn more and to register. That's MELANEYES media.com. Peace.
Al-Qibalan's lifestyle attitude is servitude. They focus on providing you quality products and customer service. They're here to fulfill your African men's and women's clothing, accessories, health and beauty products, essential oils and fragrances, hair care products, and much, much more. Check out their collection of clothing and products for African kings and queens. Visit their website, alkebulanlife.com, ALKEBULAN, alkebulanlife.com. They look forward to serving you. Revitalizing, restorative, indulgent, essential. Crea's Love Butter Raw Shea Butter Collection. How do we know if our skin products are truly delivering all of the health benefits they should? Crea's Love Butter is a thoughtful combination of hand-selected ingredients designed to enhance the level of your skin's health. Crea's Love Butter is an ideal gift for health-conscious loved ones and is a pleasure to both give and receive. They've harnessed the restorative powers of raw shea butter and infused it with their love and passion for revitalizing skin that you will undoubtedly feel from the first use. Visit their website today, creaslovebutter.com, CREAS, creaslovebutter.com. Put your skin in the game. Gain knowledge in minutes with Blacklist Ed. Blacklist Ed is an app that provides insightful summaries of books pertaining to the Black experience. As Black people, we know the importance of reading books to discover our incredible contributions to world history, to uplift our self-esteem, and to empower ourselves for our relentless fight for social justice. Unfortunately, with our busy lives, it feels like there is never enough time to read a book. Fortunately, there's a solution. With Blacklist Ed, their app provides key insights from best-selling books about the Black experience, therefore saving you time, increasing your knowledge, and empowering yourself through inspirational and actionable ideas. You can read or listen on the go. Start your free trial today by going to blacklisted.com. That's Black without the C, BLAK. Or you can download the Blacklist Ed app from the App Store or Google Play. Blacklist Ed, empower yourself. The revolution will not be televised. It will be digitized, coded, and branded. Don't let your young person get left behind. Join Tech Core 2 on Saturday, September 26, 2020 in their 6th straight year, providing tech, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, coding, and Saturday classes. Tech Core 2's mission is to develop a technology pipeline program for urban youth from kindergarten to college to career entry. Tech Core 2 offers 9 different tech classes for students in grades kindergarten through high school, including computer programming, coding, gaming, hip hop and STEM, and video production. All classes are online with live instruction. To register or for more information, please visit techcore2.org. That's techcore, the number 2.org, or give them a call at 215-879-6701. That's 215-879-6701. Don't forget to grab your $10 discount with promo code TAHN Fall 2020.